Hi, I'm Sierra Jones, and I am Sam's special education teacher this year. Today, we're here to discuss Sam's 3-year reeval data and then also his annual IEP that was created. Um, we've already introduced everybody here that's in our room. We've done our signature sheets. And so now basically we are just going to go into the data portion. So looking at some additional information, we decided that everything looked good with communication, health, and physical. There are some problems with fine motor skills like holding a pencil tends to be a struggle. Balance can be an issue with Sam, and things like that. That is noted. There are no social emotional skills that we are looking at right now. So the next area is the academic portion. So academically, Sam qualifies in reading, math, and writing. And so we're going to get into that section of the IEP. Before we do that, we informally assessed Sam. And one of the informal assessments that we continuously use throughout the school year is the writing checklist. So that's basically just like, is he including his punctuation? Is he including capitalization, finger spaces? At the beginning of the year, I know that he really struggled with sizing of his words. So we've worked on making letter sizes smaller, but then also making sure there's a good space in between each word so that his writing is more legible. And then also making sure that he's, when we're doing our writing problems, we make sure that he's writing 2 to 3 good sentences. I'd rather have 2 to 3 good sentences than a paragraph or a couple paragraphs of like not very good sentences. So I am going to share my screen in just a second. And we're going to look at some of the data that I was able to get from Sam. I don't know if you can see my screen. I'm going to stop sharing it. I'm just going to describe it for you guys. So looking at some of the data that we got from the Kaufman assessment. Okay, so we did the Kaufman test of educational achievement. The average range that we're looking for is between an 85 and a 115. And so if it's anywhere below, we consider that an area where he needs improvement. So some of his higher tested areas, some of his strengths were in basic reading skills and in listening comprehension. Where we see his weaknesses is predominantly in math and writing. So math concepts, the application of those math concepts, math calculations, math reasoning. When there's a word problem, he struggles with determining whether it's addition or subtraction, things like that. And so in those areas of weakness, he scored below that 85. And then there is a graph that we also included that shows this. So that's a more formal assessment. It's considered a norm referenced assessment, and that was administered in February. And due to coronavirus, we are now doing that reeval today and getting that all situated. So therefore, we do see a need for him to have instruction in both reading, math, and writing. For reading, looking at the academic section of the IEP, he struggles in phonemic awareness. So like the isolation of a beginning sound, the isolation of an ending sound. He does well with CVC words, but adding that fourth letter to make it a CVCC word is very hard for him. Looking at phonics, he does know all of his letter sounds, but when it is not isolated, so like k, at, put it together, that's easy. But if you add that additional sound in there, it's hard for him, and he'll like make up a sound or just make up the word based off of that type of thing. Fluency, we're still working on fluency. Once we get to know those basic reading skills a little bit better, fluency will come in hand with that. Comprehension, he's reading at a second grade, or he's reading at a kindergarten to first grade level. When a story is read to him, comprehension skills are very good. He's able to comprehend a story when it's read to him. If he is the one reading the story, then comprehension is not there. And math, he's currently working on addition and subtraction with regrouping, or with and without regrouping. He knows a single digit by single digit very well. He knows a double by a single very well. So now it's adding that other component of a double digit by a double digit. He is able to do it with a number line pretty consistently. If he does not have a number line, it's not as consistent. And then remembering to borrow or regroup, that's very inconsistent as well. Going down to the written language portion. And I kind of mentioned this at the beginning. This is that writing section. When he does use the checklist, he does very well because he goes back and he checks his work. He's checking for capitalization, punctuation, making sure he has enough sentences. An area where we're still struggling is the spelling portion. Obviously, I'm not grading on spelling, but he's able to know sight words when he reads them, but when it comes to writing them, he doesn't have the capability of writing or spelling the word correctly. So that's something that we're working on. He uses a majority of inventive spelling in his writing. When after writing 1 to 2 sentences, that is usually enough for him. He does have a lot of great ideas in his writing, and he's very creative. So right now we're just kind of working on the other part of writing, which is like the mechanics of writing. So some goals that we're looking at for Michael. Page. Okay, some goals that we have for Michael. We're really pushing knowing our short vowels. So by next year, when presented with a list of CVC words with the short vowels A, E, I, O, and U, he'll be able to read and decode those words with about 75% accuracy. And the way that this is broken up by benchmarks is we're going to focus on one sound at a time, or 1 or 2, and the percentage will slowly go up. So that's one of the reading goals. Another reading goal is when presented with sight words from a K2 sight word list, he will be able to read 65 of the 200 sight words. Currently, he's reading about 20 sight words. For math, our goal for next year is when given double-digit addition and subtraction problems without regrouping, he will be able to solve those with about 75% accuracy. So we are still working on the double-digit addition without regrouping. And then once we get that down, it's going to be moved punctuation, sticking to a topic, using a majority of inventive spelling, some sight words, with 2 teacher prompts. And so those are our goals for this coming year. Looking forward, some things that we are going to be doing in those areas of concentration are for reading books that are at his instructional level, and making him feel more confident when reading. So if we start at his instructional level and slowly work our way up, he's going to feel more confident. And then really working on the comprehension portion of when he's reading a story, making sure that he's listening for like our setting, our problem, our solution, who are the characters, those types of story elements. And then we're also going to continue working on our sight words, having a set of sight words weekly, going through those. And then for math, we're really going to be pushing the double digit adding and subtraction with and without regrouping, making sure he becomes more confident in those areas, and then starting that multiplication process of repeated addition or repeated subtraction. And then lastly, writing, really working on remembering our writing checklist steps, making sure that we are going back over our writing and including all of those writing elements, and things like that. So are there any questions over what I've just discussed? Can I help you with anything else? And if you ever need to like reach out to me, other than right now, I'm always free by email, by phone call, or anything like that. So I appreciate you guys all being here for the IEP meeting. Thank you. And I'll see you guys soon.